There's a fantastic pull on the Blackwater River, and if you watch closely you'll see an angler coming into just the right hand side of the screen there, and he'll be into a salmon very shortly. That's a cast. It's not the worst. I've seen much worse from that angler. He's getting a little bit restless there. Now salmon fishing are a long period of nothingness followed by the explosive moment of take and fight, and he's into one there. Absolutely fantastic. Now that angler there is myself, Marcin, Kantor. Welcome everyone, especially the new fans of the channel. Now what you're watching here is fishing I had over the month of July. I had 3 sessions in a very low water, typical summer conditions, water low and water clear. And I had to put my thinking cap on to make it happen. But I did have a great sessions. It was very frustrating at times, but it was very good as well. I've learned a lot. I've applied summer tactics, of which some of them were new to me. So I'll talk to you about what I was doing. I'll talk to you about the methods I've used. The typical low water conditions methods are hitch fishing, micro tubes, micro flies fishing, and also a Sunray shadow striping, which can be especially effective towards the evening. So we'll talk about those 3 methods. I'll show you what I've been doing, but also bear in mind that while the waters are so low and so clear in the summer, there are 2 very good reasons why you should give it a go and go out, and really fishing can be hectic at times. The first reason is that many anglers don't bother. They just wait for the right conditions, they just wait for the rain. Now out of the 3 days I fished, I was very lucky to have the river to myself for the 2 of those days, and the other day there were a couple of other anglers fishing. None of them got any fish. And the second reason is that exactly because of that there's not much pressure on the water. The fish are not seeing many flies, they're not seeing many lines over their head. And again, if you get the 2 and 2 together, if you find a few fish in the low water conditions and you apply the right tactics, fishing can really be hectic and explosive. So without further ado, let's see what happened over those 3 days. I'll share a couple of clips. You might drop it a like. Enjoy your fishing, enjoy salmon chasing, and hopefully this video will provide you some value. And by all means, please give me your feedback. Tell me what worked for you, what didn't work, what are your findings. I'm learning as much as you do, so I love to hear your feedback. Size 14 green boot on a treble hook, tiny hook, and it was just in the corner of the mouth of the beautiful salmon. Let's get a quick photo and we let it go back. Persistence pays off. So with the low and difficult conditions this morning, I decided to give a hitching a go for the first time, and it was absolutely fantastic. In my first run through the pool ever hitching, I've got 2 takes. Unfortunately, failed both fish, but lost both fish, and then I've moved into a green boot. I had a good take, didn't connect, and sometimes later, a few hours later, I got rewarded with this absolutely beautiful fish. As fresh as it gets. It's resting in the net. She wants to go, very strong. So we let her go. She's just sitting there, and off she went, back to where she belongs, to continue her journey and produce plenty baby salmon. Different pool now. I decided to give the other ones a rest and see if anything is stirring about here. And there was a couple of fish showing. I've put a different version of a green boot on, and I had a good pull. I struck into a fish. I had it on the rod maybe for about 5-6 seconds, and unfortunately the double hook pulled. The conditions are very clear. The water is very low, as low as it gets, and it's very, very clear. So a small size 14 or 16 black flies. That's all we're putting today, either the Hitch fly or the subsurface, and it seems to be working. 3 fish lost today, and 1 landed so far. So we still have a little bit of time to maybe get 1 more pull. So a great day so far, and having covered the top of the water with the little hitch and then moving down with a little size 14, size 16, a green boat, a tiny fly again, and getting some take. 1 fish landed so far. It was a great day so far. Coming to an end of the day, I decided to wade out a little bit further. Me being alone on the beat, I wasn't disturbing anyone other than the fish that have seen my fly a couple of times already, so I decided to go with a Sunray shadow and stripping it fast across the current. This can be an extremely efficient method, but also a very disruptive one. It's kind of a method that it either triggers the fish to take aggressively or it puts them down. So I probably wouldn't go with that method early in the day and start with that. I would try it with a more subtle method first, and then towards the end of the day, that's a good method to have up your sleeve. On that occasion, I wasn't lucky enough to trig one, and that was the end of the day one, but the next 2 days were to bring a few more takes and a few more fish. That was a nice fish there. Good morning. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're fishing for salmon in the summer low water conditions. The plan for today is to try hitching, and well, the plan for today is to catch a salmon, but we'll hopefully do it by hitching. So we have this little micro tube on, and if you don't know what hitching is fishing for salmon in on the top of the water, and it can be deadly, really, especially in the summer low water and clear conditions, when there's no time for big flies and heavy flies. When we fish as light as possible up in the water, that's a perfect time to try hitching. Fishing with a small tube fly like the one I have here. It's a Langa Fancy micro tube with a tiny size 16 treble, and the trick with hitching is that the line doesn't go through the front of the tube, it just goes through the hole on the side of the tube, and what that does, that creates this wake on the water as the fly goes across the surface. It creates this wake behind it. Oh, that was a salmon. It creates this wake behind it, and that wake is what attracts salmon. So they come up to the surface, they grab the fly, and the fight is on. And it's like any type of surface fishing, it's absolutely brilliant type of catching a fish, because you get it through all the senses, not just a pull on the rod. You get it visually, you see the take, you get it audibly, you can hear the take. It's absolutely fantastic experience. I tried it for the first time a couple of days ago. I've got 2 fish in a first run through the pole. I've lost them both, unfortunately. The size 16 hook didn't hold them, but on a day that no one else was getting any takes in the morning, that brought me 2 takes first thing going through the pole. So I have all the confidence, and I'm gonna start the day with this fly today, and if that doesn't work, then we'll go a little bit subsurface and maybe deeper again. But let's see if we can get anything on this fly firstly. So that's the fly itself, and now how do we work this fly in the water? It's slightly different to a normal swinging of the flies, so let me show you what I do. So I will be using an open loop, not as tight as normally,
just to land it a little bit more quiet in the water. There you go. And I keep the rod up high, just to try to control the swing. And as the flight starts to get into a slower water, I start slowly stripping back, and I do a figure of 8, just to get that wake behind the fly. Then when I have it all the way in the slow water, I'll just go and repeat the process. Try to land it quietly and then work it across the surface. So let's see if there is any salmon willing to fall for these tactics. The setup is Oracle Scandi 12.9 8 weight, coupled with Favoril and a Gale Force ESSS switch short spey line. We have a 10 feet of a poly leader, floating poly leader, into a fairly delicate 10-pound monoline, and this Langa Fancy Fly with hook 16. There was a little otter or a mink just there in the grass. That's why I absolutely love fishing on my own. You get to see so many things you wouldn't when fishing with others. That's a fish on the hitch. That's a fish on the hitch. As I said, I didn't see anything. I seen only one fish. But that's a salmon. I don't think it's huge, but we'll take our time. Have size 16 treble on. And even though it's not a big fish, we'll try to get it to the net. I don't think, I was actually looking away, so I didn't see the take, but I don't think it was very explosive take or anything, because I didn't hear anything other than started to feel a tugging on the line. And it pulled. The little treble hook pulled. But that was fantastic. Oh, that might have been the same fish, or maybe it was a different fish that just swam and steered this fish. That's what we have, a Langa Fancy micro tube and a size 16 treble. Unfortunately, at this size they don't hold the fish very well. But they make a nice wake. This treble actually, I think, helps with the wake, and that got that fish on. That was unexpected. I was just I didn't see a fish for a while, didn't get as much as a contact for a good while, and I was just playing with my watch or correcting my well, I wasn't paying attention, that's for sure. And then and lost another one. That was unlucky. Yes, we've got third chance. We've got another chance. That's a strong fish. That is a strong fish. Will we be lucky enough to land this one after losing one on the hitch, losing one just subsurface on a tiny black fly? I have covered plenty of different options today, and now I decided to put a Black Francis cone head, which might be not a standard. That's a strong fish. I don't want to let it go too far. That's a full line out and a bit of a backing. No, I don't want you to be going that far. Oh. Let's try to get this fish a little bit closer. I was saying, so I've put the Black Francis on a cone head on, and it's not usually a tactic you would do in a low clear water conditions, but I've covered top water, I've covered just subsurface, and I've covered a few different options I didn't tell you about because I was chopping and changing and covering a lot, and then I decided last run I try to go deep and I try to go to those fish that might not be willing to go up and grab a fly. So I need to try to get this try to get the landing net now. Now it might be a colored fish, so the thought process was that I was trying to get down to those maybe resident fish or those fish that are not willing to come up and take a fly that is passing over their heads, and that tactic obviously worked. I don't think it's a silverfish, I think it's a colored fish, but let's see if we can actually land it. And I was tired losing fish on a tiny hooks today. This is a very strong fish. I don't think it's a big fish, but it's very strong. I was tired of losing the fish on the small hooks, and I decided to put a bigger, I think she's wrapped around the dorsal fin, and I decided to put a bigger double on. Oh. Come on. Look, I had it here already. Hopefully that was her last hooray, and now she'll come nicely to a net. Or not. Oh, that is really a strong fish. My arm is aching. It's a long leader. That was one of the things I kept chopping and changing. I need to bring the knot through the guides, which I hate doing, but hey. Okay, now be a nice salmon. That will be a nice salmon. Oh, she's nice. Oh. Ah. I don't think it's my day today. Well, that's salmon fishing. It was a good day because we chopped and changed top water, medium, deep, and we've got fish on all three tactics. So that was good. That shows that you need to keep working even if the conditions aren't looking the best. Unfortunately, I was very unlucky. All three fish came off. But I hope you enjoyed that video anyway. If you did, there's a subscribe button somewhere here and a like somewhere here. So stick around, click both widely, and I'll give it the last cast, or a few more last casts.